Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Dreamhack Summer 2011. As you can tell, it is quite rainy out there.
Oh no,
Hence
it was so wet.
Now, we have a very complex situation coming up. It is EmpireKas against Idra right now. Their current records, EmpireKas 1-3. He cannot advance. Idra 2-2. He ended up losing his previous round to Sase. Sase is currently undefeated in the group, a big surprise. But there's a very interesting who will advance situation. Tell us a little bit about it, Sean.
Well, Muz beat Idra. He lost versus Grubby, but he beat Kas. And depending on his last game versus Nama, if he goes ahead and wins that, then he'll go through a second. But if he doesn't beat Nama, then we come into this situation where Greg, Idra, needs to beat Kas. Kas is out. So Kas is basically standing between Idra and advancing right now, which is a pretty scary place to be.
I mean, again, if EmpireKas wins this game, Idra's almost guaranteed to be eliminated from the tournament. And it looks like both players have started. The first match is going to be on Terminus SE. Let's see if EmpireKas can block the American player, eliminating him first round. Yet again, Idra's had a very rough run in these tournaments. But if there's one player who can manage to come back and pull through, it would be a Gregory Idra Fields. And here we are. The match has begun. If you would like EmpireKas to block Idra's chance of advancing to the group or to the bracket stages, give a cheer for EmpireKas.
Few.
And if you would like E.G. Idra himself to advance, give a cheer for Idra!
I personally want Idra to advance, man. I would love to see Idra versus MC again. I'm pretty sure so would everybody else. But the thing is, you have to think about it. A lot of people will be like, well, Kas is already out. Like, why would he, try to beat Greg? He's knocking Greg out. But the thing is, Kas doesn't care. He doesn't care if he knocks out Greg. He doesn't have a decent friendship with him. They've never properly met offline. He's a Warcraft 3 player. Greg's a StarCraft player. And Kas would love the opportunity to knock Idra out as well as himself. So there's nothing here stopping him from doing that. So this is going to be an awesome game. And Greg knows what kind of situation he's in. He's played a lot of tournaments. He knows what it means to be 2-2 in a group of death like this.
Yeah, I mean, Idra is going to have to play very, very well. We've seen Kas have a remarkable ability to hold on, but it looks like that first series that Kas played against Nama just burned him out. He came into this tournament with a 1-0 and then has lost all his subsequent matches, so that way he's currently 1-3. Overlord now moving in for Idra, will be scouting the close positions. There's the early expansion going down for Greg.
And it's kind of weird. I mean, when we were watching the Kas game, I was like, all right, Kas is somebody you have to look out for. And he played so well in that first series against Nama, but he just fell apart after that. And it's really interesting to see that, as we expect Kas to have the stamina to completely play throughout, but then getting knocked out losing versus Sase really threw him out onto the ropes. And it's surprising to see him go 1-3. It really is.
Interestingly, we see this gas geyser going down first for Greg. That will allow him to get that extremely fast Zergling speed upgrade. Very important for defending against all sorts of early shenanigans. We see EmpireKas, interestingly, not keeping that barracks as part of the Wallen. I would anticipate this means he's going for a factory Hellion opening. This way he can wall himself in with just supply depots and keep all his tech hidden.
And there we go, the factory has been put down. We'll have to see though, he's quite a way away from getting that reactor. Is he even going to go for a Marine first? And we'll have to see, does he add on that reactor afterwards? Because he might actually be going, I don't know, he could be going for a tank expo. We'll have to see, because this reactor is quite late. I guess he could build one reactor, build one Hellion first before going over to that reactor. But let's have a look at the barracks, nothing being added yet. This is quite interesting, so.
Given this opening, I mean, we have seen players like MMA go for a very fast single Banshee on one gas, but looks like Idra will get blocked by those drones. And given the fact that we're seeing that second gas geyser go down, whoa!
What?
EmpireKas doing a very, very funky timing.
This is really weird. I don't really understand this. I've never seen this before, because usually, a 2-fac is something like Blue Flame Hellions or something, but he just does not have the gas required to do so. This is really interesting. And even if he does go Blue Flame, then it's quite late. So we'll have to see how this does play through. Greg getting that Spine Crawler up here in defensive stance in case of anything coming through. And as the Tech Lab now finishes and we approach 150, it looks like, will he be going for the Blue Flame Hellion upgrade?
Well, I suppose this is a kind of fast Blue Flame Hellion upgrade. It will allow him to get the expansion and the Blue Flame up relatively quickly, but we're seeing that it's a little bit of awkward timing with this Blue Flame upgrade, a little bit of a late supply depot. There's the Blue Flame finally starting. And, I mean, honestly, Idra may very well not have enough speed zerglings by the time that Blue Flame pops out. There's the very fast layer coming up for Idra. Given the speed at which EmpireKas got these two factories, I would almost certainly say that he's pretty committed to doing a lot of mech play afterwards, unless he does some of his trademark ultra-fast stim. But thus far in the match, it looks like Idra does not have good knowledge of what's going on, but there comes the Overlord, ready to do some suicide scouting.
I mean, yeah, I'm looking at Idra's vision. He has nothing. He can't see anything aside from that, I mean, the refinery being added on. So he's going to go in and scout what's going on. But will he be able to see these factories? Two Marines are going to come and get rid of that Overlord before he even sees the factories. Completely blind. And now Lynx are going to come from the front. But still, actually, he will be able to see the Hellions now. But won't be able to see these Blue Flame at all.
Looks like the Hellions have been revealed. Idra trying to target some of those Hellions, and he's going to manage to get up into the main. No need to lose that Overlord. He just marches right in for free.
Gets in there, sees what's going on, and I'm looking over in his base. Should be most likely adding a Roach Warren because it's going to be very hard to defend this with just Lynx. He's adding a second Spine Crawler and an Evo Chamber to help block these, but no, he's not even going to add a Roach Warren. He's just going to go straight for Spire. So depending on what Cass does, this is 6 Blue Flame Hellions right now. These could do a lot of damage if he decides or is able to get inside this main base of Idra.
Very, very unusually timed, incredibly fast Blue Flame upgrade. Idra is not making any Zerglings. He is just making drones. Oh no, if EmpireKas just slips his way into the main, that could be terrible news. But it looks like Idra very carefully blocking it with a Queen, and it looks like he does manage to do a miracle strong defense. 2 Blue Flame Hellions do work their way in. And see ya later, Blue Flame Hellions. Idra positioning himself quite well. Keep in mind, though, this is not a guaranteed advancement for Idra. If Idra does win this game and is put 3-2, and Mers wins his game and is placed 3-2, that means Idra will not advance because Mers defeated Idra 2-1 in their lower bracket game.
This is interesting, and now we do have this third base. This third base is kind of an awkward situation to have. And actually, Greg moving in with these Lynx, we're going to be able to do a lot of damage here. And will he be able to get 1, 2, like 1 SCV kill there, maybe 2. And, but being able to force the pull-off on that SCV line is incredible, actually. But as I was about to say, this third base location isn't ideal for Idra, just because it's simply so close to the Terran's base that it's going to be very easily dropped by any Marines later on, or any Blue Flame Hellions. It could do a lot of economic damage, but in the meantime, Idra is teching up now for the Baneling Nest, and also +1 for these Mutalisks.
Ooh, and this is going to be a very, very close call for EmpireKas. He needs to begin making those missile turrets really, really soon. I mean, we already see Mutalisks are starting to hatch, moving out across the map towards the front, and I mean, almost no units out right now for EmpireKas that can even shoot up. There, the Mutalisks just march right in, and at very first sight, EmpireKas begins to build those missile turrets, moving in with the Marines. Greg pulling back, actually not realizing how few units EmpireKas actually has. And I mean, if EmpireKas can suddenly slam out 2-3 Thors, he could actually do a pretty fast push and do quite a bit of damage.
Definitely. Idra coming in here, trying to harass again. We'll try to pick off these reactors if possible. I don't think he has the DPS yet with these Mutalisks to do so. Marines are coming in. Stim not yet finished. And he's trying very hard to get that down in low health. Pelksuk picks off a couple of Marines very nicely. And he notices that Stim has not been used, so he picks off a few more. And great harassment so far.
Looks like we do have a Thor coming out for EmpireKas. He's beginning to get that combat shield upgrade. Is he getting any regular upgrades? No, looks like none at all. Meanwhile, back in camp, Greg, we see the +1 on the air attacks. We see the Baneling speed nearing completion. We see the +1 melee going down. Greg having all 5 of those geysers, and he manages to take out the reactor. EmpireKas, though, oh no, going to be losing a lot of Marines. Desperately needs that Thor to pop out, queuing up a second one on the same factory. A little bit of a misplay there by EmpireKas. Uncharacteristic sloppiness from Kas.
Yeah, he did manage to get supply blocked on 78 for quite a long time too, and you can kind of see that in the supply that he's dropped down quite a lot already. One Thor is out, we'll be able to get a hit off.
Oh!
Not too big of a hit really, and Idra decides to pull out, taking a 4th base at this north location, and we wanted a mine from that Vespian Geyser quite shortly.
So we do see a lot of Thors getting produced for EmpireKas. This is almost certainly going to mean big aggression. Those 2 factories early on allowed EmpireKas to get a critical number of tanks that will allow him to deal with Banelings quite well. And now, with all the Thors popping out, Kas can deal with the Mutalisks very, very well. So if Greg doesn't have a good mix of units, he could be in a ton of trouble. There's the Infestation Pit, and just like we saw in one of the early games with Morrow, the transition with the Infestors is oftentimes a little sharp, and you can be quite vulnerable.
And I'm not sure if Kas is going to be able to hit it though. I mean, he's going for a 3rd base now. We want to defend it against any Mutalist, and that should be able to buy Idra enough time to get the Infestation Pit out, to get the glands out for them, and should be okay if he continues to keep Kas inside his base. And in come the Mutalist again. 2 Thors though.
Oh.
Pretty big hit there, but Idra escapes.
Now, if Idra is counting properly, he's starting to realize that there's more than just the usual 2 support Thors, or generally just even a 1 support Thor. He's starting to see that there's maybe 4 or 5 Thors marching around this base. It means he's going to have to start worrying about his Mutalist count, because Marine Thor, extremely strong against this high Mutalist number that's been pretty typical of Zergs nowadays, and Idra, he's poking around, is just taking a lot of damage.
And supply cap again at 126. Kas really getting hit by that supply, and already just through Mutalist harassment and supply capping, I mean, there's a big 30 supply difference already. And it looks like Kas might be moving out a little bit with these Thors and Marines.
But it looks like a stim is going to have to... Oh no, misses every single Marine, and will the Mutalist manage to pick it off? It looks like no. But EmpireKas is making a very nice mix. Idra still on just Ling, Baneling, Mutalisk, but getting a lot of extra bases up in the main. We also see the +2 attack. We see the +2 melee. And they're moving in towards the 3rd base.
And they're going to do a lot of damage here. Turret goes down. Thor's coming in to repel this. And once again, the Mutalisks are repelled. But he is killing the Destructible Rocks at the same time here. And does Kas quite see it? Yes, he does see what's going on. We'll be able to do some damage to these Lings here.
So it looks like so far Kas has not yet taken too much damage, but man, is he ever behind on upgrades, just finishing the +1 attack. Meanwhile, we have Idra almost at 2-0 with both air and ground, starting to get that Neural Parasite. Ooh, that could be a huge threat, just easily nabbing the Thors.
Yeah, grab those Thors and then move in with the Mutalist threat, and that's going to be pretty devastating. But Idra is at this comfort zone right now, almost at 200 supply, where he can start building up a lot of money. And I'm looking in the main base of Kas, and if these Mutalists decided to go in there again, they could be doing so much damage. There's only a few turrets, no Thors, not even close. And obviously we have the wonderful vision of the entire map that Idra doesn't quite see, so he's going to go to the right-hand side instead, but it looks like Kas is slowly pushing forward. Might be looking to get a 4th base, might be looking to push here.
Idra just has an incredible vision coverage over the map. We don't see any command center out quite yet for Kas. There it is going down. But I mean, Kas is going to have to do a lot of damage soon. The Hive is just now wrapping up the Greater Spire, no doubt, right around the corner. Idra has used this style in Terran vs. Zerg for so long. EmpireKas is going to need a siege and advance forward. Still game 1 between these 2 players. If EmpireKas can win, Greg will almost certainly be eliminated from this tournament.
And it looks like Idra is going to go into the main base finally of Kas and be able to do a lot of damage here. Turret's going down, supply depot's going down as well. And this is incredible damage being laid out here.
Uh-oh, big cluster going on. He can do a ton of damage with this 1 Thor if he hits it at the appropriate angle. And there's a big cluster, and he will magic box over this 1 Thor. Not quite enough damage was dealt by this single Thor, and there it pops. So what is Kas going to do? He's just going to advance in. But there's a lot of Infestors there right now. Easily going to be able to nab all these Thors with Neural Parasites. Kas is going to have phenomenal tank placement.
all these Marines have to be super careful as well from Fungal Growth, and in comes Idra.
And it looks like, oh, narrow parasiting all the Thors, but the Marines from behind getting some huge damage hits off. The Thors not able to eliminate the Mutalisks, but it looks like it's not even going to matter. EmpireKas seems to have eliminated almost the entire Mutalist army, only 3 left, and it looks like Kas is now going to be able to continue this advancement.
The Thors are in a lot of danger right now, down to red health, 46 slings in production, as well as a lot of lings already out. Reinforcements coming from Kas, but does he have enough? 156 supply for Idra, 115 for Kas, and here comes a big attack again.
And there's the good game. Idra with the close win over EmpireKas. Did a great job defending that early Blue Flame attack. It wasn't the unstable Idra that we saw in those early games. Definitely coming forward in a strong position.
And that close air position, you could say, between that third base and the main base of Kas was completely shut down by Idra's Mutalist play, and then being able to utilize it himself, going into the main and actually forcing Kas to go into that style, that aggressive style, because he was going to lose so much. He needed to do something, the reason for him pushing out there, but Idra was well equipped to deal with that.
Yeah, I mean, Idra, very, very patient with those Mutalisks. You always want to consider the Mutalisks as your primary harassing unit, but Idra did not overcommit. It's very easy to desperately try to scrape in there, get some SCV kills, but the Thor placement was just a little bit too strong from Kas. But the stronger the Thor placement, the slower the eventual push from Terran. So whereas Terran normally deals with Mutalisks by just drilling huge attacks through the center of the map, Kas had to wait a very, very long time to be able to pull that off.
And once you get to that critical Mutalist count, it's actually impossible to defend with Terran with just turrets. They take them down so fast, +2, bam, gone. And bam, gone. And you need Thors there, but once you go for that kind of attack like that and push out, you're not going to have any Thors or Marines, and Idra really jumping on that opportunity there and pushes through and takes the game in the first, really pushing towards that final place to see if he can advance in this group, which is looking very difficult now.
And, you know, I will say, EmpireKas has a lot of, tricks in his basket. In particular, that kind of crazy fast Blue Flame Hellion play that didn't really do much, but EmpireKas still managed to come back and be in a good position. What I personally love seeing out of EmpireKas is the way that he pulls off pretty typical builds. In particular, just regular double Hellion harass straight into Tank Marine. He has some of the fastest pushes that I have ever seen, and I think that could be exactly what gives Idra some trouble.